Let's go Broncos! Something big is brewing in Denver, and what I'm about to tell you could change the way you look at this entire upcoming season. While everyone's eyes are on the usual suspects like Kansas City and Buffalo, the Denver Broncos have been quietly building something powerful: strategic front office moves, rising stars with something to prove, and a coaching staff that's laser-focused on turning this team into a serious Super Bowl contender. But here's the kicker. While other franchises are making desperate, overpriced decisions, the Broncos are playing the long game, and they might just shock the league. Stick with me, because we're about to get into some explosive behind-the-scenes details, including a brewing personal rivalry that could define Week 5, a potential GM extension that could secure Denver's future, and a rookie situation that might determine who becomes RB1 this season. But before I drop all the intel, make sure you've hit that like button, only if you've been riding with the Broncos for more than 20 years. It's always incredible to see lifelong fans show up strong. And if you are one of those diehard fans, drop a comment saying, "Go Broncos!" My heart bleeds orange and blue. Now let's get straight to it. Alright, straight to the heart of the action. There's a storm brewing over in Kansas City, and it's not the kind that's going to blow over anytime soon. The Chiefs are making some head-scratching decisions, particularly when it comes to their offensive line and salary cap. Remember Joe Thuney, arguably one of the best guards they had? He's gone. Just like that. And what's worse, they didn't replace him adequately. Meanwhile, their right guard, Trey Smith, is about to become the highest-paid guard in football. Sounds wild, right? Especially when you realize Smith has never posted a PFF grade higher than the guy they let walk. Let's take a second to zoom in on the numbers. Trey Smith pulled a PFF score of 78 last year. Joe Thuney, 79, nearly 80. That means the Chiefs are dishing out elite money to a guy who's statistically been second best to someone they let go for nothing. And here's where the Broncos come in. George Payton, take a bow. He made moves early, locking down key players like Quinn Meinerz before the market could inflate. Meinerz put up a ridiculous 88.2 PFF score, and he's only the 7th highest paid guard in the league. That's not just smart, it's masterclass roster management. This strategy goes deeper. Patrick Surtain, the same Surtain who's arguably the best cornerback in football, is only the 4th highest paid at his position. Why? Because Denver didn't wait to play catch-up. They made deals proactively, locking in stars with value contracts before the price tags exploded. This isn't just good business, it's what separates championship-level front offices from the ones chasing their own mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, Kansas City is becoming the NFL's cautionary tale, pouring massive amounts of cap space into just a few players while the rest of the roster ages and thins out. That's a blueprint for disaster. The Chiefs are already showing signs of the empire cracking. You can't win Super Bowls with 5 guys, you need 53. And when your best linemen are gone and you're overpaying for the rest, it's a long road back to the top. Meanwhile in Denver, not only do we have elite talent on both sides of the ball, but we've also got a front office that's playing chess while others play checkers. Think about what's coming. Courtland Sutton, Nick Benito, Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers. These are names that will shape the Broncos' future. And while the fan base is on edge wondering what will happen with each deal, there's one thing we've got to remember. George Payton has earned our trust. His decisions on Surtain and Meinerz weren't just smart, they're aging like a fine cheese, and we'll look back and realize just how clutch they were. And hey, speaking of Payton, there's buzz that he might be negotiating a contract extension himself. The Bears just locked up their GM until 2029, and looking at what Chicago's done, burning through draft capital, missing on QB talent, and scrambling with coaching hires, Denver is in a much better spot. Bo Nix could end up being better than Caleb Williams over the next 5 years, and Sean Payton is a proven leader in ways flashy young coaches like Ben Johnson just aren't. When you have ownership with deep pockets like the Walton Penner Group, locking down Payton long-term seems like a no-brainer. Now, let's shift gears to Patrick Surtain, because there's a little drama brewing there too. Recently, Ja'Marr Chase appeared on a podcast and listed his top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL. Shockingly, Surtain didn't make the cut. That's right, the same Patrick Surtain who had Chase locked down to just 45 receiving yards the last time they met, over 5 quarters, mind you, didn't even get a mention. That's the kind of snub that adds fuel to the fire. Word is, Surtain took notice, and you better believe he's circling Week 5 on the calendar when the Bengals come to town. He's going to show Chase exactly why that omission was a mistake. And don't forget, during that recent WR camp, several top wideouts, including Chad Ochocinco and even Jerry Jeudy, were literally brainstorming ways to try and beat Surtain. That's the level he's operating at. Game planning against Patrick Surtain is a whole separate assignment. And now that he's got an extra chip on his shoulder, good luck to Ja'Marr Chase at high altitude. Training camp is almost here, and rookies are set to report soon. All eyes are on Jaquan McMillian and R.J. Harvey, two guys we're dying to see on the field, but there's a holdup with their contracts. A few teams gave guaranteed money to their second-round picks, and now everyone else wants the same. Until that's resolved, we might not see these guys in camp, which is a huge concern, especially with R.J. Harvey. The Broncos want him out there from day one, possibly even RB1 material, and to see him hit the ground running behind what many consider the best offensive line in football would be massive. And let's not forget, this isn't just about making smart financial decisions or building for the future. This is about competing right now. The Denver Broncos are no longer playing catch-up. They're playing for keeps. And a lot of that confidence comes from the way George Payton has turned the franchise around from a personnel standpoint. Every calculated risk he's taken has positioned Denver to compete not just this season, but for years to come. That kind of vision, in a league where teams regularly fall apart chasing short-term gains, is rare. But none of this works without trust, and Payton has earned that from the fan base. Look at Quinn Meinerz again. He's not just one of the best guards in the league. He's a tone setter, a leader in the trenches. That kind of value, on a contract that doesn't even place him in the top 5 of his position salary-wise, gives the Broncos the kind of cap flexibility that allows them to pay stars like Surtain while also building depth. And that's the key to a real Super Bowl run, depth. Something the Chiefs are now sacrificing as they funnel millions into players like Trey Smith while letting real talent walk out the door. And now with Patrick Surtain's name left off Jamar Chase's top 5 list, you've got the best cornerback in football entering the season with something to prove. That's a scary thought, not just for Chase, but for every elite receiver in the league who has to line up across from him this year. Because we already know Surtain doesn't need motivation. He's already elite. But now he's angry. And a focused, motivated Patrick Surtain with a chip on his shoulder? That's nightmare fuel for opposing offenses. This brings us to the coaching staff, because all these smart moves by the front office don't mean much if they're not being developed and deployed correctly. And that's where Sean Payton comes in. He's not just the coach, he's the culture. He's taken over a locker room that had lost its identity and reshaped it with discipline, accountability, and expectation. And now we're seeing that reflected across the entire organization. From the rookies to the veterans, the message is clear. This team is different. This team is ready. Bo Nix, in particular, is going to benefit massively from this environment. People might be sleeping on him because he doesn't have the same media hype as Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, but the Broncos didn't pick him at number 12 to be flashy. They picked him because he fits. He fits the scheme, he fits the culture, and most importantly, he's got the tools to win. With Payton guiding his development and a strong offensive line anchored by guys like Meinerz, Nix has everything he needs to hit the ground running. Let's also take a second to talk about that wide receiver camp. When some of the best minds at the position are sitting around discussing how to beat Surtain, and they still don't have an answer that says everything you need to know about the kind of impact he has on the game. It's not just that he shuts receivers down, it's that he alters entire game plans. He forces quarterbacks to look elsewhere, limits offensive coordinators' options, and creates advantages for the rest of the defense. That's what elite corners do. And the disrespect from Jamar Chase is only going to make Surtain's next performance against him even more explosive. Now zooming back in on the rookies, especially R.J. Harvey. The longer this contract standoff drags on, the more it delays what could be a breakout story. The Broncos drafted him with a clear vision in mind, a high-motor, downhill back who can thrive behind a powerful line. If Harvey isn't signed and participating in camp, that momentum stalls, and Denver needs every ounce of that juice heading into a season filled with expectations. Harvey could be a game-changer in this offense, especially in tandem with Nix and a retooled scheme that favors power runs and play action. But first, he needs to be signed. And with rookies reporting and training camp knocking at the door, the clock is ticking. Every rep counts.